These 5 Pinterest myths are keeping you stuck from driving traffic to your website and doing what you want to do with this traffic source, which could be sales, it could be traffic, it could just be to grow an audience. That way you can use it for influencing and sponsorships. Whatever your goal is with Pinterest, if you believe and are taking part in any of these 5 Pinterest myths, then you could be harming your success on Pinterest. Let's dive in, just cut right through the BS and talk about these 5 Pinterest myths. And the first one is probably the worst offender of them all, at least in my opinion. I'm still getting these questions about this particular myth on Clubhouse on a routine basis. Myth number 1, I need to use group boards to grow my following on Pinterest. Even while doing my research for this YouTube video on YouTube and Google, looking for what people believed to be Pinterest myths or what other creators are talking about as it relates to Pinterest strategy in general, this is something that I kept seeing come up. And in Facebook groups for bloggers, same deal. It's still coming up. You do not need to use or take part in group boards to grow your following. That is so 2016. You don't need it. They're not relevant unless you are truly collaborating on something with another Pinterest pinner. And if you're using group boards and you're truly collaborating with that other person, then you are making sure that that group board is niche specific and it is completely optimized and does not have a bunch of garbage in the description as far as rules and how many times you can pin and where I can contact the person. You only need to create idea pins now because idea pins are what Pinterest wants. False. Pinterest does not just want idea pins right now. Yes, they are prioritizing idea pins in 2021 because they are the new toy. They're the new shiny object on the block. But they are by no means the only thing you should be prioritizing in your Pinterest strategy. In fact, on a recent webinar that the Pinterest creator team did with an Instagram audience, an audience that they were targeting on Instagram, trying to bring them over from Instagram to Pinterest, they said that you only need to be publishing at a minimum of 1 idea pin per week. Where does that leave us with only publishing idea pins? We don't need to just publish idea pins. Myth number 3, Pinterest is just for women, or it's just for wedding content, or Pinterest is just for food. I am on a lot of discovery calls with people who are businesses like business owners. They get on these free calls with me to see if we're a good fit for working together. And they say things like, oh, well, I don't think my niche is relevant because it's only for wedding planning content, or it's only for food planning or meals or, date night ideas or parenting advice. Wrong. In fact, if you were to get into the Pinterest Ads Manager and look at the interests, and you don't even have to go to the Ads Manager, you could go to your audience insights. There are roughly 24 different interests on Pinterest that people can target in their advertising on this platform, which tells me that it's not just for weddings, it's not just for meals or parenting, it's actually for a lot of different verticals. Now, I was just doing some research for another video that I'm going to be publishing, and something was very interesting. I actually had someone come to me recently and hire me to do a Pinterest build, and they are in the job coaching niche. They help people write resumes and find jobs. So I went on Pinterest and I was like, okay, I wonder how many people are looking for career resume writing tips. Over 5 million monthly searches per month for resume writing tips. If people are looking on there, figuring out how to write a resume, you better bet your bottom dollar that they are on there looking for things to build, for businesses to start, for marketing ideas, and everything in between. So the next time you think to yourself, oh, I don't know if Pinterest is the right marketing platform for me, I'm just not seeing the results I want to see, you need to go back to the drawing board and really figure out who you are talking to and what your strategy is, because chances are that's where things have fallen off. Myth number 4. I need to repin other people's content to my boards as part of my weekly pinning strategy. It's not incorrect, but it's also not correct. Another thing that Pinterest has come out and said in the recent months of 2021 is that you don't necessarily have to pin other people's content at all. In fact, they would rather not see things copied over and over and over. Not that repinning is necessarily copying other people's work. That's not what I mean. But repinning other people's content as well as repinning our own, it's not something as a business that should be a priority as far as the strategy to get your content in front of people. Now, if you want to create a wholesome, holistic experience for your audience on Pinterest, then go ahead and pin other people's content. But it should not take up more than just a few minutes of your time per week if that is something that you're implementing into your strategy. Now, my friend Jana is writing a blog post, or maybe she's already written a blog post. I will check. If I have the blog post, I'll put it in the description down below. But she's basically talking about the 5 different times that you would need to repin or consider repinning other people's content. So if that is live when this video goes live, I will make sure to include it in the description. Myth number 5, and this one might startle you depending on how long you've been doing marketing on Pinterest, but you do not need to pin 20 plus pins per day. In fact, you can pin as little as like 3 per day if you want to, or the most that we have in our client schedules, and it really just depends on the client, is 10 items per day, with the weekend having more items in the schedule. Now sometimes, some weeks, some of our clients' little slots in Tailwind go blank, and that's fine because we are focused solely on the quality of the content, the newness of the image, making sure that each image is optimized. And that might freak you out thinking, oh, I need to create like 3 brand new pins a day. You don't have to do that, but really focusing on the quality versus the quantity is really going to help you out in the long run and make sure that your Pinterest success is what you want it to be. Now, Pinterest, again, has said we don't need to repin things. Back to myth number 4. We can pin them to one board and be done because their system is smart. If you have a pin that is appropriate to fit on a couple of different boards, you're not going to get blocked as spam if you want to put it on a few different boards. We still pin our clients' content occasionally to more than one board as long as it's appropriate. Feel free to do that if you wish, but you do not need to have 20 plus things in your schedule a day or repinning multiple times throughout the week. Okay, so I actually have a bonus myth for you. Bonus myth 6 is you need to stay on brand on Pinterest. Wrong. So wrong. You do not have to have an aesthetic feed. Even on Instagram these days, some of the big Instagram influencers, Instagram teachers are saying you don't need to have an aesthetic feed. It's a waste of your time because you are on Pinterest, you are creating Pinterest images that attract your audience, but you're also using keywords and like SEO optimization on this platform. And you're going about it in a very strategic way. And when you do this, you don't necessarily serve your pins, the ones that you pin, to every single follower on your list. They're not all gonna see all of the content that you publish. And I think we need to remind ourselves of that at times. So here's my challenge, and this is why I say you don't need to stay on brand. Try some different images, really branch outside of your norm because you could cast that net wider and actually end up attracting more than your tiny little audience that's only attracted to your pale pink and white brand colors. So please consider branching outside of your norm. Use video if you don't use video. Use moving stickers. Try to use different fonts, preferably not script fonts, okay? No script. Stick with sans or serif until you're really good about making pins, and then maybe you can branch out. And just try it out. Your followers are not going to see every single thing that you create, and they're not going to see your created feed if they do land on your profile and be like,
oh my God, Becky, her feed is hot pink and yellow, and I'm never gonna look at her again because that's hideous.
Like, No, they don't think that, and neither should you, okay? Perfectionism is not gonna get you anywhere. So that was my bonus myth. You don't have to stay on brand. You can go off brand and try some different things. You may end up figuring out that you need to create what my friend Jana, who I mentioned earlier, calls a sub-brand just for Pinterest because your main brand colors may be too muted or dark or just not attractive to people on this platform. So keep that in mind when you are creating your next batch of Pinterest images. So that's it for this week's YouTube video. Give me a like if you liked it. Put a comment down in the comment down below and let me know what you would like to see on this channel next, because I'm running out of ideas and I need some audience feedback. So if you've got it, I want to hear it. Let me know what you would like to see. And in the meantime, head on over to this video right here, or playlist, I might put a playlist there, and watch the Pinterest marketing strategy, just wealth of information I've got for you. So that's it for this week. I'll see you next time.